Recording in progress.
All right. Hi, everybody. So, in order to prepare for class tomorrow, we are going to do a brief review of theme because it's going to help us out a lot when we go through our group and individual activities. So, the dictionary definition of theme says that theme is an idea that recurs or pervades a work of art or literature. Now, dictionaries are good for a lot of things, but when it comes to usable definitions and understanding what to do with them, we might need to put it into our own words a little bit. So, what does this really mean? A theme is an idea that shows up over and over again throughout a piece and helps us understand what it is that the author wants to convey. Theme often gets confused with motifs. So let's look at what theme isn't. Theme isn't a singular word or image like sunset or teacups. That would be a motif. A theme is going to be a lot more complex and probably have some sort of connotation behind it. Just because snow shows up a whole bunch doesn't mean that is the theme. It could be any variety of themes. So, how are we going to identify our themes? There are lots of ways that we can go about it. These are 3 tried and true methods that I have done over the years. You can try using 1, 2, or all of them, whatever it takes to get you to your answer. So you can try to sum up the plot in 1 sentence. You can ask yourself how the protagonist changed or what they learned. Or you can identify the main subject of the piece and whether the author portrays it positively or negatively. What you're doing in each of these prompts is being asked to condense the story down into a small, manageable chunk. And by doing that and taking away all of the distractors, we can usually get ourselves down to a more condensed essence of theme, if you will. So let's try an activity here to test your knowledge. I want you to think about one of your favorite stories, one that you know really, really well. This could be a short story, it could be a book, it could be comics or a TV show or even a video game. Anything that tells a story is going to have a theme. I want you to take a moment, you can even pause the video if you need to, and go through the steps that we just went over to really think about what the theme of your chosen story is. If I was going to do this, and I was going to think about a story that I know really, really well, I'd probably go with Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. If I was going to condense that down into, say, a 1 sentence summary, I might say a little girl falls into a world where nothing goes the way she expects it to. From that, I might be able to come up with a theme like everything is topsy-turvy. So hopefully you've taken the time to pause, think about your own story, and come up with a theme. On the next slide, we can test to see if what we have found is actually a theme or not. So if you've identified a theme, you should be able to answer yes to the 2 following questions. 1, is the theme supported from evidence in the work itself? And 2, are the author's choices of plot, character, conflict, and tone controlled by this theme? So if we go back to my Alice in Wonderland example, the answer is yes. Everything is topsy-turvy is in fact a theme that is supported by evidence in the work. We have, the Mad Hatter and the March Hare, and how everything they say about half a cup of tea or the dormouse is also very either literal or painfully abstract. I think an even better example would be when the caterpillar asks Alice to recite a very well-known poem, which she does correctly by our world standards, but according to the caterpillar, it's an entirely different poem about a crocodile instead of about a bee. The other option are the author's choices of plot, character, conflict, and tone controlled by this theme? Yes. At every single point of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, it's as if the author asked himself, what would the normal response be? Well, I guess I'll do the opposite. Test it out with what you picked. And lastly, I just wanted to take a brief look at what popular themes are that often occur in literature. Now, this won't be every story. It won't even be the story that we are looking at tomorrow, but they show up a lot, and I think they give you a good idea of what themes look like. Here's a couple of my favorites. Good versus evil, coming of age, what is just, the relationship between humans and nature, and change versus tradition. I think the one about humans and nature is my favorite, but they are all very interesting and all explored in a variety of ways depending on the story we're looking at. So keep all of this in mind, and I will see you guys in class tomorrow, where if you have any questions, you can ask me, and we can start applying all of these together to our most recent reading. All right, bye guys. See you next time.